right.
Yes, people. One more time. Tropical People and Places TV. We're trying to find out, can ordinary St. Lucians get fat from the tourism business that is going on in this country? Is it possible for an ordinary St. Lucian to become wealthy? Or how many ordinary St. Lucians are poised to become wealthy as a result of the tourism vibe that is going on there, based on the way it is structured? And we have with us Richard Edwin. And Richard is going to introduce himself to give you an idea of who he really is.
All right, Richard Edwin. I am Richard Edwin, and I'm a community person. I have been involved in community, as I said, for a long time. My interest right now is to see organizations in St. Lucia, and I'm strongly backing up the cooperative movement in St. Lucia, Farmers Cooperative. That's what I'm into right now. I'm into food security. I'm talking about food security, and I want to see something done um, with farmers, as far as farmers are concerned, and the tourist industry. I believe the tourist industry can benefit farmers, but it has to be restructured to facilitate the participation of farmers in the whatever that comes out, like in whatever that comes out of the tourist industry. At present, the way, as I said, it is structured, it is not, it will not allow the farmers to participate in any meaningful way in getting anything positive results from what we are seeing as it is. Okay, yeah, so go ahead.
All right. So I am putting it to you.
Yeah,
I am putting it to you
right.
that I have seen ordinary people
Uh,
build houses
hmm.
from farming.
Right.
And many, 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 many.
Hmm.
I have seen ordinary people bought vans, vehicles
Hmm.
from farming.
Hmm.
I have seen ordinary people pay tuition, university tuition for their children from farming. Now, some may say that, okay, we had the banana era where green gold was running things,
Hmm.
but there were people who never planted bananas, but they were able to still do those things, build their houses, buy vehicles from farming, and
Hmm.
they did not plant bananas. So we have seen people, even now, there are people who are building houses without taking loans. Some people are able to do it from farming. So there are many people, I can just show you and point to houses that were built from farming and some of these things without taking loans. But how many people can say that they build their houses from tourism? How many of the houses that we have here, or how many people can say, I built that house cash from tourism?
You will not find that, because when you see the agricultural economy, it was totally different from what the tourism economy is.
Mm,
In agriculture, well, particularly during the time of bananas, you had a diversified group of people.
mm,
All the communities benefited in one way or the other.
mm,
This person had a little bit of land there, and they could plant 300 plant of bananas, and they could have harvest every week and get the money was in circulation.
mm,
You know, but now what you have is monopoly.
mm,
That's a different type of economy completely.
mm,
Where you have only a few,
mm,
dominate everything.
mm,
You know, even to the extent that the people who were in agriculture and who are in agriculture today, in a way, even subservient,
mm,
I would say, to the tourist industry,
mm.
because the hotels buy from them when they want, as they please,
Pay when they want.
and pay when they want, and most of the,
Mm,
and they are being gradually pushed
mm,
aside
mm,
away from that economy. They are
mm,
shrinking at a very rapid rate at the because
mm,
we import so much of, a case in point is the pork industry.
mm,
It is at this point, it is totally decimating,
mm,
you know and the amount of pork that is being coming to the island,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is that under the cost of production for the ordinary farmer, a pig farmer, they cannot even sustain the production.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so it's a change in the economy that causes this. So while a few people are benefiting enormously from tourism, you know, i.e. the investors and the local agents, you know, who are the importers and so on, who service the hotel and who have opportunity to participate to get something from the hotel. But the rank and file, they are not there. They are not getting benefits. You know, so you have a number of people right now, farmers, who are on the sideline looking in and waiting for the catastrophe to hit.
So, at this point, what do you think we can do to get ordinary people in this tourism industry where they can benefit and not just pay bills, not just pay room, pay a rent, house, pay the house rent, but to really feed off this industry? What do you suggest, or what are the areas you feel that we can get into?
You know, people have to understand. St. Lucians will have to understand. They have to fight for themselves. You need to do that. You know, we have to demand that there are policies put in place that change the nature of the economy to enable agriculture to develop or create a relationship between agriculture and and tourism, so that you can have the agriculture benefiting from tourism.
Mhm.
Okay, as particularly in food, for example, when the tourist comes, if the tourist come with a package, I mean they come with a package, uh, that is not beneficial to the ordinary people,
Mhm.
because they come with everything. I mean, everything is provided for them, so that they just pay their money wherever they are, and they just come and enjoy themselves, and they go back. You know, the little vendor who is by the roadside would sell a little, you know, glang glang and that kind of thing. Well, that's you know, not very significant. If you have to have a truly integrated tourist agricultural relationship, what you need to do, like we mentioned before, is that you have to have the, these little cottages
Mhm.
and so on. You have to have ways by which you can process agriculture in a way that it can benefit, you know, the hotels and so on, and the hotels buy from this what you
Mhm.
produce. You need to have a something like, you know, we hate to say marketing board, but marketing board, that's what is there. They have to give the farmer a stake
Mhm.
in the operations of the marketing board,
Mhm.
so that at the end of the day, if there is a profit, a surplus with marketing board, that can be, it can serve as a kind of dividend
Mhm.
for the farmers. So the farmers have to be they have to be organized. Other than that, you know, we are dying a slow death.
Mhm. Okay. We talk about the farmers part, that's good, but I want, how do we get the St. Lucians, the average person, to get involved in the part of the tourism industry where they receive guests like everybody else? We receive
The
They receive guests.
cottages will
Mm.
allow that to happen. You
Mhm.
have to build enough around the country, you
Mm.
know, facilitate the development
Mm.
of these, you know, approach to tourist industry. Another thing that we can do is that we have not tapped into our diaspora in places like England and Canada and the United States and so on. There are lots of St. Lucians who want to invest in St. Lucia
Mhm.
and who have the
Mhm.
capacity to do it,
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
don't have to do it in any that would put a burden on them. They
Mhm.
can do that by incremental, you know,
Yes. Yeah.
contributions and
Yes.
that kind of thing. So it is, again, the leadership has to come from us and say, okay, and it's government that have to do it.
Mhm.
You know, a government that can initiate that kind of thing, and you know, facilitate their investment of the diaspora into the development of the country.
Mhm.
You know, even the monies that the diaspora send to St. Lucian, what do we do with it?
Mhm.
What do we do with it? And it's millions and millions of dollars that are coming into the economy. But then there is nothing that we do with it except for this. It's sent back right away. Right away, we buy whatever the imported food and that kind of thing, and it
Mhm.
goes back right away. But there must be a way by which we can do that. The government has learned everywhere. In St. Lucia, the government is they're the largest, or I don't know if
Yeah,
may,
they should be.
okay. Now, there are lots of St. Lucians who are away and would like to build in St. Lucia.
Mhm.
Okay. How about setting aside, having a program, setting aside land that can be sold to to St. Lucians who want to build, in St. Lucia, who want to build a piece of, a house or whatever, and having a scheme by which they pay by,
Mhm.
let's say they take a loan or whatever, but they can pay,
Mhm.
the government and so on. You can set up these kind of structures, you know, and you can have a lot of money going into the economy. You know.
All of these ideas are good, but it
Mm-hmm.
seems to me,
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to the lands,
Mm-hmm.
that the successive governments are
Mm-hmm.
more interested in procuring lands for foreign investors as opposed to local people.
Because.
They are very interested. Just listen to their budgets.
Mm-hmm.
St. Lucian governments are more interested in catering for foreigners, for foreign investment.
Mm-hmm.
Their greatest joy and their greatest pride is to go to the House of Assembly and to gloat about how many millions that they get from direct foreign investment. They
Mm-hmm.
love that word,
Mm-hmm.
direct foreign investment. I hate direct foreign investment. I
Mm-hmm.
want direct local investment.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, and the thing is, you always talk about doing things in groups.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed to me like we need to revert back to the whole idea of doing things as a group.
Mm-hmm.
We have teachers, we have the civil servants.
Mm-hmm.
20 teachers can come together and get involved and register their business
Mm-hmm.
and build some cottages.
All right.
20 nurses or whoever can,
Mm-hmm.
20 farmers can
Mm-hmm.
get together and do those things.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
understand? But again, um, the governments, they cater and they facilitate foreigners a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They love direct foreign investment,
Mm-hmm.
but they do not really cater for their people. You will. There's a guy who contacted me on this channel one time.
All
He's a
right.
Saint Lucian who's overseas,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me that there was a minister of government who went to New York, and it was like they had that meeting where they asking people to come and invest in Saint Lucia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He took the guy's number, they were communicated. He came to St. Lucia and he went to the guy's office. He had an appointment with the guy. When the guy saw him, he spoke to the secretary and everything. When he went to the man's office, while he was there trying to talk to the minister, the guy was there doing his work. He totally ignored the fella.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The man told me that he left that man's office, and the man did not even see when he left his office. He went to New York, recruited the guy to tell him he come here, he's going to help him. And when the fella come, he didn't have time for him. And a lot without just one more point. A lot of these ministers of government from successive government, they seem to be intimidated by St. Lucians who live in foreign countries. These St. Lucians who live in foreign countries, some of them have a different worldview.
Mm-hmm.
And probably they can decipher and see through the foolishness that is going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And so they do not really like this kind of people getting involved in our things. They
Right.
want to keep them away.
Well, you get a lot of pushback. That's one thing I can tell you. In a subtle way and sometimes overtly. But then you see, when if a minister goes out there
Mm.
and is offering to, asking St. Lucians if they come to St. Lucia, they will help them.
Mm.
The simple question is that what structure you have in place? What is it? How do I get into? Because it's a matter of this would have gone to Parliament, and Parliament will say, okay, not Parliament, but
Cabinet.
cabinet, yeah, and the cabinet would take a decision, and they would say, okay, this is the policy that we have for diaspora communities which want to invest, and there would be a policy in place. As a matter of fact, I think there is a book that they um, diaspora policy. The government has a diaspora policy in place. I
Mm.
have a copy of the book. And so there are certain processes that you go through, you know, to apply or to make your proposal and that kind of
Mm.
thing. But if your minister tell you to come to their office,
Mm.
you know, I mean, it is like, okay. But I don't think you can put a lot of thing in that, although they have the power.
Mm.
They can refer you to certain things. They can say, okay, you go there, talk to Mr. So and so, or talk to my secretary, my permanent secretary.
Mm.
The permanent secretary knows something about that. But
Mm.
I'm telling you right now, if you go to any government department, whether it's a former government or this one and so on, and you say, you ask them about a diaspora policy,
Mm.
they don't know anything
Mhm.
about it.
Mm.
You
Mm.
know, permanent secretaries, you
Mm.
ask them about diaspora policy, what are you talking about?
Mm.
They have never seen it,
Mm.
or they don't know about it. Very few people would know about it. So when we do these things, and we do it in a secretive way, and we just put out these things, it's like the fad. You just, that's
Mm.
what is in right now. So this is what we're going to do, but nothing concrete to put it on the ground to
Mm.
say, hey, this is something that we're going to pursue because it is something that will benefit us in the long run. And
Mhm.
that's,
Mm.
that's the nature of our situation.
Mm.
And how do we change that? Again, is the mindset. You have to change the mindset, and how you change the mindset, you have to be organized to at least, reach out to people, and as enable people to see things from a different perspective.
Mm.
There must be a central vision where everyone can contact or can connect to, and a mission to achieve it. Yeah.
One of the problems, one of the complaints of people over many years is that even if they were interested in investing in tourism or whatever else they want, we need here, there is a problem with accessing funding for the project.
Hmm.
Now we know now that there's this project here that where the government took a loan of $10 million
Right.
to give out small loans to people who are interested in businesses.
Hmm.
But even when they tell you that these things are there and they talk about it, it is so difficult to access those
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
It is so difficult.
Hmm. Right now, I'm actually working with some people on this project, and you find that the conditions
Mhm.
very difficult to navigate through, very cumbersome, discouraging. It's even discouraging for
Mhm.
people to access these things.
Mhm.
So we have to create a system by which people, that is not so complicated,
Mhm.
because many of these people have not experienced these things before. They
Mhm.
have never done it before. They don't know too much about, how you set up a marketing
Mhm.
plan. How do you uh, create financial records?
Mhm.
How do you manage money? What is the SWOT analysis? You have
Mhm.
to do a SWOT
Yeah,
analysis,
yeah, yeah.
that kind of thing. People, so you have to set up in a way that those people who are eligible for the program,
Mhm.
who the proposal are accepted,
Mhm.
what you do, you have to bring them together
Mhm.
and walk them through these processes.
Mhm.
So I am saying that the initial proposal should not be an elaborate business plan and so on.
Mhm.
The initial proposal should be a solid letter that would indicate to the program managers that this is what I want to do, and this is what this is what I want to do, and I would like to be
Mhm.
considered
Mhm.
for the program. And if they found that you have a sound proposal, then they could say to you, okay, we will look, we are serious about your program, so therefore need to, we are hooking you up with some, this
Mhm.
person that would guide you as you go along,
Mhm.
and that kind of thing. I think it would be more useful, and it might be more successful. But if you're left onto their own, people get frustrated, and they say to themselves, hey, that is too difficult to do. They ask me to have this, to have such and such and such, and it is too difficult, I can't get it, so forget about it. And that's what I see
Mhm.
happening, even with the people that I,
Mhm.
that I that I help.
But even in this proposal, even when you take your time to do a proposal,
Mhm.
I prove that these people do not read these proposals. I did a proposal. This is my product here. It is AgroBuds That's a liquid fertilizer here. This is for vegetables, and there's one that I have for plantains. Now I did a proposal and I took it to them and they rejected my proposal. Now there is another aspect of the proposal that I had in addition to that. So a type of plant that I was going to plant. But the thing is, I am going to use this, actually use that, use the plants to actually test the effectiveness of that. You understand? But they do not really understand what I'm trying to do, which it was explained to them. But what happened is, one in St. Lucia, once they look at the proposal and they do not know your name, some of them will just reject your proposal. The other thing is they do not read through these proposals. Because I can guarantee you, out of all of these proposals they're going to fund, there is hardly any of these proposals to me that worth funding more than this proposal. This product is being used. Imagine one of the suggestions the people are giving me is to like 75% of the money they want me to spend it on marketing and promotion. How can I spend 75% of the loan grant facility on marketing promotion and none of the money goes into development of the thing, into being able to test it and all of that? This, I do not know. That whole thing to me, they need to get rid of these people and put in people, get people from Barbados. Yeah, because once they send Lucians, once they do not know that they do not know you, they will reject your thing sometimes. The other thing is they want you to give them too much information that's bordering on knowing too much of your intellectual property. Because when I give you a detailed proposal of my ingredients and everything, you can just go and just take my thing and mass produce it. We have seen in St. Lucia where people just take people ideas in banks, in other government entities, just take people ideas and give it to their friends. So I cannot give you all my information and all my details. This is one of the best projects one of the best proposals that was submitted it and they rejected my thing. How can it, how you all are so smart about business? I'm asking you all for funding for to develop my product and to do different things, to test on different plants. But you want me to spend 75% of the money grant fund for promotion and advertisement? That doesn't make no sense. That makes no sense. I was listening to this guy, the South African guy that's making this cars. How you call him again?
All right.
A guy from South Africa. He make these cars that move without fuel. I forgot his name, but he was saying that the most important thing is to spend money on product development.
Research and development.
Yeah, research and development. He was saying that that's this guy.
He from Zimbabwe? Oh.
He sent some. He's interested in space stuff, sending things to space. Oh. Elon Musk. Elon Musk was saying the most important part of your product is to spend money on product development. Yeah, and these people here want you to spend your money on 75% of the money on promotion. And I want the money to develop the product, to test it, to test the product on certain plants,
to see how it works.
But then you want me to spend 75% of the money on product development. These people do not know what they're talking about. And the other thing is, there's a mentality among St. Lucians is that who that guy think he is. That's the mentality. Any great innovation that you come with, no matter how educated some of these people may be, their mentality is who that guy think he is. So to me, if the Prime Minister is going to spend $10 million or whatever amount they're going to spend on the small businesses, get people from Barbados who do not know any one of us and let them see which proposals are good, which one makes sense. But these St. Lucians that are looking onto those things, we will not get nothing good from those people. There will just be discrimination among party lines, discrimination among people that will say, who that guy think he is? Discrimination among all kind of lines, but we do not need them St. Lucians to judge whether or not proposals are good. Too much biases, get people from Barbados to do that.
You know, from my perspective, as far as proposals are concerned, I believe that if you make a proposal to anybody, that it should be a process that they should allow to develop gradually. It's not something that, because you have the ideas and you present it to someone and they are not familiar with it, so it is not reasonable for them to to say, okay, they know everything about it. They would not, and it is unreasonable for them to reject it completely. If you see something makes sense and it is something that has potential, what you want to do is to is to say, okay, let's have another meeting and
Mm.
let's look at, let's
Mm.
give me an outline.
Mhm.
I can look at the outline, and then let's have a meeting. Then you can come to
Mm.
explain in
Mm.
terms of where what you see
Mm.
in the long run. But for the way that they, I am not sure how they
Mm.
evaluate proposals or
Mm.
what they look for and so on. But at the same time, I'm saying that if something comes to you and you just glance at it, you have 20, 30, you glancing at each of them, then you will not have enough time to make a decision, a
Mm.
concrete decision in terms of whether you accept them or reject them.
Mm.
If it is something that you see have potential, you look at the headlines and you see the three aspects of it that you see that can move forward. Then you have another meeting,
Mm.
and then you get it. You get the it to be developed,
Mm.
further. But then to just reject it, it's just like you killing the spirit of the
Mm.
person who put so much time into it, and
Mm.
who may have, who may see the thing and may not be even be able to articulate it the way you want to see,
Mm.
But if you give them time to talk about it and so on, they will be able to give you a sense of it, and then you can make a determination from there.
So while we're at it, could that be one of the reasons why we do not have enough of our people really benefiting from that tourism business that is going on there? Because we have a situation where it is almost like we put mechanisms in place to prevent our own people from going forward.
Right, setting up to fail. And you have to be very careful, when we make certain offers to people and invite them to participate in certain things, that the mechanism that we put in place is not to discourage them, and to tell them that, you have to get this and you have to get that, and you have to get, and if you don't have everything that they
Mm.
need
Mm.
at an instant, then
Mm.
your project is set aside, and
Mm.
this is setting up people to fail,
Mm.
and you don't want to do that if you have good intention of allowing someone or encouraging someone, inviting someone to participate in development of a country. It's not going to
Mm.
go anywhere.
Mm. We have 3 minutes left on that one.
Okay.
There was a news clip that I saw where the former Minister of Tourism, Jeff Fady,
Mhm.
he was saying that he's seen a tremendous decline in the arrivals of tourists from England, I think. He's
Mm.
saying that the arrivals decreased by 24%. And my thing is, he represented an area that was an agricultural belt, an agricultural area.
Mhm.
But I never heard that man really spoke so enthusiastically on behalf of farmers.
Mhm.
But he seemed to be very enthusiastic in the way it's almost like he's always representing the tourism sector.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I never, although he was Minister of Tourism, I never saw this guy so representing the interests of farmers as I'm seeing he always talking about tourism.
Well, you should, the decline in tourism, in the arrivals that he's talking about, maybe looked at, you can look at the economy of Britain,
Mm.
for example, an economy, what is happening in the United States as well, to the dollar in the United States. And
Mhm.
it's one of the areas that, tourism will have to
Mm.
look into very quickly,
Mm.
is the de-dollarization of the
Mm.
American dollar,
Mm.
because this is going to become very, very significant very, very soon. You
Mhm.
know, maybe in August we'll see the BRICS
Mhm.
nations will come up with their own an own currency, and that will have a significant impact on whatever happens anywhere in the world.
Mhm. So, people, our next topic will be the BRICS. We're going to be in just a few minutes. You're going to be talking about the BRICS and exploring what impact that thing might have on our local economy. So keep the fire burning, and I would appreciate if you would share these tips with your friends and your people. It's very important that we hold these discussions, because what is happening is we cannot be living in a country where 1 point something million people visit your shores every year, and at the same time you do not make any money out of that. It is for the most part people from other countries benefit from all of this business that is happening in our country, and we have to change the way we think. Because if what I have noticed is ordinary people like me, when I'm trying to do something, there's always obstacles and hindrances from people like from the same local people that I live with. But then you have these people coming from other shores and come here and make millions of dollars and nobody say anything to them. Even when they take advantage of the locals, nobody say anything to
They
them.
facilitated that.
They facilitate them.
Yeah.
So we need to reach a point where I actually went further than that is good. We need to reach a point where people start supporting their own, support your local people. You need to support your local people. There have been too many times when I have tried to do different projects in this country, and it is people from the own St. Lucia that is affecting me. People from St. Lucia. I've gone through government departments, and they themselves, government people, government workers, putting obstacles. I have evidence of government people, government workers putting obstacles in my way in certain things I've tried to achieve. But then you have these people from other countries coming here and doing what they want, not paying farmers. There was a situation where I was working for a lady on a project, and the lady was around 60 something years, close to 70. And that lady was selling fish to a hotel. And the hotel owed that lady $90,000.
Wow.
And they sold the hotel, and the lady did not get anything. So when she went to the new hotel owner, they told her that it is not our fault. We bought the hotel. We do not know anything about that.
Right.
And so the poor lady just lost just $90,000 just like that. You understand? And these are the things.
You set the person back,
Yeah.
killing the spirit. That's what it is. You destroy the person's sense of how do I move forward, that kind of thing. And it is very people have to be sensitive to these things, but unfortunately we don't have, people are not. They seems to be sensitive to, like you lose it, so what? That kind of thing, and that's very, very bad.
The way I look at it is it is easy for the government to point out the amount of money that they make in tourism through their taxes and all of that. And then they can say that they make X amount of millions and all of those things. But there are things that the in tourist industry take advantage of that put us at a disadvantage. And for many years, we've been talking about those things. And even the people who are supposed to representing us are not interested in dealing with these problems. It is almost like they do not want to offend the tourism industry. You understand? They do not want to offend them. A man sells his produce, he has to pay his workers, he has to buy inputs, and yet he has to pay free. He had to wait 3 months to get his money. Just 2 days ago, a guy told me that thing happened to him. He sold some tomatoes, and it's like he has to wait for 3 months for his money. These are not things that we just talk about. These are things that we know.
That are happening.
These things are happening
every day,
and these things have been happening for years. And governments after governments, and none of them are handling this problem. The only guy I respect in tourism for the most part is the Prime Minister of the Barbados and the Prime Minister of Antigua. These people will tell these hotel guys, let me tell you something. You come and have the hotels, but some of the fellas who are at the top must be people from my country. Barbados will tell you some of your managers must be from Barbados. But in St. Lucia, anything goes.
Right.
They don't have to use some of your best people to be their managers. And just last 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, one of these hotel workers was telling me that when they work it out, a woman who cleans, there's a lady who was cleaning a room in one of these hotels.
Yeah.
It works out to be $1 for every room that she cleans.
Wow.
$1 for every room that she cleans. But these people will come, including ministers, will come and boast about how this tourism thing is good. This tourism is good to the people who own them.
Right. Right.
The people who work, they do not get fat of the tourism dollar.
You see, the tourism industry has not evolved to the point where it includes it. It benefits the local people to a point where local people feel that yes, tourism as an industry, I am part of it, and I'm making a decent living out of it. Apart from the little worker who works at the hotel, who works for like the security, working security, These little clustered, level where you have a lot of, unskilled people working, but there's no opportunity for them to develop within the industry, and so they stay there until they are retired, and sometimes get a pension, sometimes they don't get a pension, or get fired even before before they are eligible to get a pension, and that fluctuates because of the nature of the hotel industry itself. COVID comes, everybody goes home, but if you had your agriculture, if it was connected to the agriculture, at least we can have the food, we can do something else with the food, and that's what is going on. So the mindset has to be changed, but the leadership must step forward and say, okay, we have taken a good look at this, and let us see how we can, reposition, the situation, and then we can move from there so that the local people, can get something out of it. Otherwise, as I said, they continue to push us to the margins, and then there's no place for us to go except join the unemployed, the homeless lines, and the frustrated lines, and all kinds of lines. That is the irony of it. Yeah.
So, people, in closing, what I want to say is this: you who are listening, you and I need to think of how we can benefit more directly from the tourism business that is going on there. We need to think of how we can probably build these cottages, as you were saying, where the guests will be reporting directly to our facilities, no matter how small it is. There was, again, if you watch Ras Kitchen, I want you to watch Ras Kitchen. It's a YouTuber from Jamaica. It's an older Ras. And these guys, when you look at the facility, I mean, I want you to see for yourself. People leave America, England, and those places and go there. There's another guy named Chucky, another Ras again. He has a small place, probably 5 rooms. But people leave other countries, Germany, England, and they come there. In America, there's spring break, and some people are not wealthy, but they want to go someplace for spring break.
There are lots of people who are, the median income people, who want the holiday like everybody else.
Yeah.
And they are not able to afford, let's say, $300 US a night at a hotel. So therefore, they will gladly come to a situation where they can experience, local living, and they can have a good time. Yeah. So that's what we need to do. I would encourage people to call for policy changes. That's what you need to do. It's a press on for policy changes, and this is where you can get something done so that the local people at least can get something out of the whole thing. Because right now it's a monopoly situation where the investors, have all the powers. They do whatever they like. What we want to do is to say, share the wealth a little bit. Yeah.
So keep the fire burning. So remember to report to this channel every time, Tropical People and Places TV. This is where you're going to get some useful information that is going to benefit you. It is not just about laughing and hype. We need to grow and we need to develop in the country. So keep the fire burning. All right. So we're going to see another time.
See you there.